Prior to assembly of any part of the Rexa actuator, it is a good practice to replace seals and O-rings. Refer to the specific actuator model maintenance manual for the correct parts. Reinstall the top bushing as follows. Use blue Loctite on the 4 bolts. Along with the washers, install and torque to 100 pound-inches. Today, Rexa supplies complete bushing and seal kits with all seals pre-installed on the bushings. If you have the bushing and seal kit, then you simply need to remove the old bushing and install the new one. Stem installation. Clean and inspect the shaft and piston for any scratches or abnormal wear. Lubricate and install a new O-ring onto the shaft and 2 new seals on the piston in the orientation shown, with open ends out. Place the lower split ring in place and slide the piston onto the shaft. With light pressure, the split ring halves will stay in place. Insert the top split ring halves and the retainer onto the shaft. Slide the retaining ring onto the shaft and into its groove. Insert the piston assembly into the hydraulic block, retaining ring side toward the top bushing on the block. Assembly of the hydraulic block. Slide the end cap onto the piston shaft and back into the hydraulic block. Use blue Loctite on the 8 bolts. Along with the washers, install and torque to 65 pound-feet. If the lower bushing is a threaded type, reinstall the nylon tip set screws. Reinstall the feedback module. Thread the potentiometer back into the takeoff arm and install the hex nut. Replace the foam tape on the potentiometer base. Insert the potentiometer into the hydraulic block and snap the retaining ring into the hydraulic block groove. Fasten the anti-rotation rod into the block. Align the feedback arm with the anti-rotation rod and potentiometer. Fasten the arm to the cylinder shaft with the shoulder bolt. The spring washers are installed under the arm. Install the feedback board and terminate the potentiometer. Install a new O-ring on the cover and bolt back onto the hydraulic block. Reinstallation of the pump motor. Grease the motor inner and outer seals. Reinstall as shown for proper operation. Inspect and apply a light coat of sealant to the motor mount area of the power module. Place the motor gasket on the power module. Run motor wires through the wire hole and pull to the termination board. Install the motor onto the power module gently so as to not damage the motor seals. Use blue Loctite on the 4 bolts. Along with the washers, install and torque to 50 pound-inches. Terminate the motor per specific wiring schematic. Assembly of the powertrain. Using a small amount of grease, lubricate the 2 output port O-rings and 2 check O-rings and install onto the FMV. Holding the FMV face up, insert the 2 check balls and springs into the FMV. Use blue Loctite on the 4 bolts. Along with the washers, install and torque to 100 pound-inches. Lubricate and install the 2 pump output O-rings to the pump on the FMV side. place the pump onto the FMV. Use blue Loctite on the 4 powertrain bolts. Along with the washers, install and torque to 100 pound-inches. Inspect the pump coupling. Note that on actuators with the designation 1/2D, the two ends are different. On all other actuators, both ends of the coupling are identical. Install the pump coupling into the power module. You will have to turn the motor or the coupling manually to properly engage the coupling. Using a small amount of grease, lubricate the 2 drivetrain pressure O-rings and reservoir O-ring and place on the power module surface. Insert the powertrain into the power module. Adjust the pump coupling with the motor shaft as necessary to engage the pump. Once the powertrain is in place, turn the motor shaft to check for free movement. Use blue Loctite on the 4 powertrain bolts. Along with the washers, install and torque to 190 pound-inches. Assembly of the oil reservoir. With the piston inspected and cleaned, lubricate the piston O-ring and install onto the piston. Insert the piston into the power module. Slip the spring onto the piston shaft. Lightly lubricate and install the reservoir cover O-ring. Lightly lubricate the cover seal and install into the cover seal groove. Push the reservoir cover onto the power module and install the retaining ring. Install the reservoir scale. Installing the hand wheel. Lightly lubricate the hand wheel O-ring and install onto the motor. Insert a new spring and spin the hand wheel housing onto the motor. Push the hand wheel and check for proper engagement.